Last year, there was a council that increased its council tax for its poorest residents by 175%. And this year coming up, we might see something similar. I'm Rachel, I'm a public and social policy consultant, and I'm on a mission to scrap council tax. Now, council tax is a postcode lottery, meaning that not everywhere pays the same. And in some areas, if you're on a low income, let's say, for example, you are disabled and unable to work and you claim benefits, you don't have to pay your council tax bill at all. Your council will give you 100% council tax reduction, meaning that you pay nothing. But council tax reduction is an extreme postcode lottery. And even though some people with exactly the same circumstances in one area may have nothing to pay, elsewhere they could see bills of hundreds and hundreds of pounds. How have we got here? Well, in 2013, the government decided that instead of providing a national system of council tax benefit, each billing authority, so the council that's got the top of your bill, whichever council you pay your council tax to, they're responsible for providing a council tax reduction scheme. Now, council finances vary greatly, and one of the reasons that council tax has absolutely got to go is that because some councils can afford to have generous schemes and others absolutely can't. And in April 2025, nowhere was this massive funding inequality seen more than it was in Dudley. Because in April, the amount of council tax support Dudley Council could afford to give its residents dropped from 77% to 40%. Now, if you were living in Dudley at the time and you lived in a Band A property, which is the lowest council tax band that you can live in, your average council tax went up from £297 as a minimum each year up to a whopping £815. This is a 175% increase in council tax for the people in Dudley on the lowest incomes. Now, I'm not here to call out Dudley Council. I mean, I kind of am. But Dudley isn't an isolated case, and there are other councils that have seen enormous increases for their lowest income residents as a combination of decreases in support for their council tax reduction schemes, as well as 5% increases for everyone's council tax. Dudley, as well as dozens and dozens of other local authorities, are playing a rigged game. And as well as council finances being harder and harder to balance each year, it's residents on the lowest incomes that are footing the bill. Now, because of the way that councils are funded, from April 2026, there's a change coming, and we're likely to see a number of different councils increasing their council tax above what we've kind of normalised at around a 5% increase each year. Didn't used to be 5%, it isn't always 5%, but this 5% has become something that we've accepted. Those councils that are missing out through what the government have called the Fair Funding Review, and some councils are quite rightly calling the Unfair Funding Review, many are seeking exceptional financial support from the government, and along with that comes permission quite often to increase council tax above this 5% increase. Now, because council tax is regressive, which means poor pay more and the rich pay less, it's the poorest in that community that are footing the bill, paying a disproportionate increase in their council tax, not only because the council may have made some difficult financial decisions or may not have managed their finances as well as they have, but because councils are playing a rigged game. Funding local authorities well at the moment just isn't possible, and more councils are falling into financial hardship, declaring effective bankruptcy and asking the government for permission to increase their council tax way above what most people can afford. So while a 175% increase is rare, how would you cope if that was you? And think about the people in Dudley who've had, the lowest income people in Dudley who've had their council tax increase, well, nearly tripled. This is no way to fund public services. This is not a sustainable way to fund local authorities. And at some point in the not too distant future, this system is going to eat its own tail and public funding for local government will collapse. I honestly don't think we've got much time left with council tax before inevitably it becomes so thoroughly unfixable, not that it was ever fixable in the first place. It becomes so thoroughly unfixable that we have to do something radical, and switching to a land value tax-based system of taxation for local authorities with nationalised collection and redistribution might be the best option that we have. But for now, spare a thought for the people of Dudley and hope that this isn't something that you're going to see in your area, because good grief, we need better policy.